Hi friends, my name's Joanna. I'm a nurse. I'm a mum of 3 boys, which I think equals like 15 kids. And one of them is special needs. So that's an added layer of complexity to my life. And today, I'm here to talk about how there's been like 150,000 flies here in Queensland. And before you come at me about how it's a dirty house, it's not. It's a very clean house. But we live on acreage. There are lots of animals around, you know, cows, sheep, stuff, chickens. Got him. Anyway, okay, so I am here today to talk to you about self-care. To be honest, when I hear the term self-care, I get so triggered now. I hate the term self-care. It has been so diluted in like the wellness community and the science bros and everyone who's just like, self-care is just such an indulgent but necessary part of life. I'll be really honest with you. I feel like it's one more thing that I have to put on my to-do list that I'm currently failing at. And there's a few reasons for this. I think because a lot of us have started to misinterpret what self-care means. So now self-care looks like running a bath, putting a face mask on, couple of cukes over the eyes, or like writing in the journal. My ultimate self-care right now would look like laying flat on the couch to give my lower back a break and scrolling my phone for 30 minutes without a kid screaming in my ear. But no, scrolling the phone, well, that's not self-care. We got to get away from the phone. We're not allowed to do the things that give us instant gratification but that aren't good for our brain. And intellectually, I get that. But on a deep spiritual level, it's just one. On a deep spiritual level, my self-care doesn't look at all like what the wellness gurus tell me it's supposed to look like. And if I were to do all of the things that I'm told I'm supposed to do for self-care, I feel like it would be a bit of a burden, to be honest. And then it just becomes another thing on my to-do list, which I know is going to get bumped to the bottom of the to-do list and I'm not going to get it done. And then I'm going to lay my head on the pillow at the end of the night and feel guilty that I didn't take care of myself. It's a cycle, a self-fulfilling prophecy. Is that what it is? Not really. Got that term wrong, I think. So all right, let's look into it. And maybe together we can nut it out and we can like reframe it. This is my hope for this episode, is that we can maybe just reframe what self-care means to me. Because right now it's like I'm a bit disconnected from its true purpose. Because I know it's supposed to be a good thing, but it doesn't feel like a good thing when I hear the term right now. And I kind of want to change that so that I feel more incentivized to do it. And then I will do it. And then I'll feel better. And then that cycle will repeat and become a self-fulfilling prophecy. No, still not using it right. All right, so what does Google say? Google says that self-care is actively taking steps to support your overall well-being, encompassing physical, mental, emotional, and social health to manage stress, prevent burnout, and promote a balanced life. Now, girl, I get it. I teach burnout prevention. This is my wheelhouse. And I still get it all convoluted in my head on the daily, right? When you're not like at a retreat, taking time out for yourself and going, yeah, self-care is like the best thing ever. When you're just in the daily grind, self-care can feel like a very triggering term because, as Google says, it involves deliberate, personalized activities from basic hygiene. I would not say just quietly. It's a big call, but I'm going to disagree with Google because I don't think that basic hygiene can really constitute like the self-care that we're talking about. I think basic hygiene is basic hygiene. Like I wouldn't say that, like having a shower and brushing my teeth at the end of the day would mean that I feel like I've accomplished a lot of self-care throughout the day. But, we're chucking it in there. It's part, yes, self-care is literally caring for the self. Okay, I get that. Basic hygiene, healthy eating, okay, to setting boundaries, okay. That little just landed on my finger. It's like it knows. It's baiting me. So we're taking a shower with our basic hygiene. We're eating healthy. We're setting boundaries, pursuing hobbies. I mean, who's got time for that? But all right. We're connecting with loved ones. Honest to God, self-care sometimes for me is disconnecting with loved ones. I'm going to just throw that out there. And seeking professional help, which obviously that is a biggie and one that is very neglected. All of these things are aimed at recharging and maintaining your energy to live well. Okay, let's take a step back and really look at that. Let's say brushing our teeth, okay? Brushing our teeth and taking a shower as self-care. Basic hygiene, as Google would like to suggest. If I'm in a rush and I'm taking a shower, sometimes I'm taking a shower with the baby at the same time because the baby needs me in that moment and it's the only time that I have to have a shower. You know, there's a lot of reasons why I might not get the time to have a shower by myself. If I'm brushing my teeth, sometimes it's the end of the night. I'm so tired. I just want to get it over and done with. Like I just want to get in bed and scroll my phone, which is not listed in those activities as any kind of self-care. So I feel like, does it need to be something that we're doing with intention and purpose and with love and joy and passion? Is it doing the thing? Is it doing the basic hygiene? Yes. Is it constituted as self-care? I would argue no. I take that back. Sometimes yes, because if it's the difference between having a shower or not having a shower is better. But if you're doing it in a rush with like kids all over you, with your husband up against the door, like, can I come in? Just kidding. Love you, honey. Sometimes self-care is skipping the shower. Sometimes self-care is forgiving yourself and giving yourself a break from not getting it all done every day. Sometimes self-care is better utilized as self-compassion than ticking off the boxes of what you need to do in a day. On that, another physical self-care activity is exercise. Woo! Exercise and good nutrition. Great in theory. In practice, it's just not always realistically achievable. Now, fitness gurus will tell you that everybody has the same 24 hours in a day and you just have to make time. And to a degree, I have to say, as a mother of 3, including a 6-month-old who currently is not exercising or eating well at all, I agree. If you're going to prioritize exercise and good nutrition, you just have to make it a non-negotiable. It needs to be like brushing your teeth. It needs to be like, well, I don't want to do this right now, but it's something I don't have a choice to do, so I just have to do it. And then something else sometimes just has to be sacrificed for that, like spending time with your kids or scrolling your phone or that extra 30 minutes of sleep in the morning. You know, like we weigh up what's more important. Is the adequate sleep or the exercise going to be more important for our self-care that day? That's a decision that we need to make each day. But you know, we do all technically have 24 hours in a day. Some of us don't have 24 usable hours in a day. That's a different conversation for a different day. Hydration, medical checkups. Okay, medical checkups. Let's talk about the dentist. Can I tell you that about 6 months ago, I have a crown in my mouth that cracked. So I only have half a crown on one of my teeth right now. And the other like exposed tooth is just there, just like exposed to the world. I have a baby that is not currently in care and that I can't leave with someone. So when am I physically going to get to the dentist to sit down in a dentist chair and get a crown replaced? So when I'm told by society that that's self-care and then I'm failing at self-care again. Okay. Well, then that's just another failure. It's not making me feel good about myself. It's not helping with my overall wellness. Let's head to the mental and intellectual types of self-care. Reading, learning new things, mindfulness, meditation, spending time in nature, or therapy. I'm an advocate for all of these things. Thankfully, therapy has become a lot more accessible due to telehealth. I mean, game changer that. When I started doing therapy, I was able to do it from home with my baby in my arms, and I could chat to my therapist, put him down for sleep, pick him up, feed him, whatever, and it was all good. That has been a huge game changer. Financially, it's a very different story, particularly in Australia. I'm not sure about different countries, but therapy is not always accessible for everybody on a long-term basis. Mindfulness and meditation, I'm a big proponent of, but that is something that does actually need practice. I was great at meditation a couple of years back. I've just started getting back into it and I can't not turn my brain off. So it does take practice and that takes a commitment, right? I had to go, all right, I've got the same 24 hours in a day as other people, but I can't do all of these things at once. So my priority before I tackle exercise has been to get the meditation under control. So if I have a spare 30 minutes in my day and I can choose exercise or meditation, for me, I'm choosing meditation. Spending time in nature is something that we can, to some degree, incorporate into our day a little bit, whether it's walking places instead of driving them, if that's a possibility for us, getting outside in the morning to drink your coffee in your backyard, if you have a backyard, if you're meeting up with friends, instead of going somewhere to eat, perhaps you could go for a walk instead. There are definitely ways that we can incorporate getting out into nature. And the more we can pepper in like little bits and pieces of these things, the more it can release the dopamine for us to act on further things in our life, right? So like, say for instance, I decide to meet up with a friend. Instead of going to get a coffee, we decide to go for a walk. I'm in nature, breathing in the nice fresh air. And I think to myself, yeah, if I can carve out 30 minutes this afternoon, I might just sit down and try and have a meditation. Or because we're doing that, we're incorporating the physical exercise into getting out in nature as well. So there's like ways that we can, what we call habit stack, that can help a roll-on effect for more self-care activities. In the list of these things, if there's one thing that you think is like, yes, that's achievable for me to incorporate in what I'm already doing in a day. So for instance, getting out in nature or exercising being this one thing that like you walk your kid to school instead of driving them, or maybe park further away from school and walk them, then that might be a way to start chipping away at the self-care a little bit. Let's talk about emotional self-care activities. Expressing our feelings. This can be very difficult for some of us. Setting boundaries. This can be very difficult for some of us. Journaling. Don't get me started on journaling right now. Well, I guess we should get started on it because that's what we're here to talk about. Doing things you enjoy. Well, except scrolling Instagram, we're not allowed to do that. Seeking support. This can be very difficult for some of us. So if these are deep-seated challenges that we're facing, seeking support for these things, professional help or guidance, I would say would be the first step. Because a lot of these things are important, especially those of us who are hyper-independent, are very averse to seeking support from the people around us or connection from the people around us. Those of us who find it very difficult to express our feelings effectively or to set boundaries effectively, these are things that we need help with. They're big ticket items that can be very difficult for our brains to tackle independently without some sort of assistance of some kind. Journaling, I have to say, some people love journaling. I don't love it. When somebody says self-care is journaling or like commit to 10 minutes each night writing down in your journal, and in theory that sounds great. And so you're like, okay, great. Yeah, I'm just going to like get a pen and paper and journal for 10 minutes every night. That's a big thing for me that I do not tick off. And then I have a very deep sense of guilt with an empty notebook next to me and days worth of unfinished journaling that pile up in my brain of an unfinished task or a task that I am failing at. So there are some things in my life that I've recognized I'm not good at or that I don't particularly enjoy, and so they don't qualify for me as self-care. Even if somebody says to me, yes, it's self-care. If it's meditation for you, some people hate meditating. If somebody says to you, you've got to try meditation because that's just good self-care. If that doesn't feel good to you in your heart, maybe it's not self-care. Maybe it's the opposite. I don't feel like journaling brings me any sense of well-being. If anything, I'll write it down and I'll be like, what if someone finds this and then reads my innermost thoughts? Like, to me, that is not an enjoyable thought, feeling, or experience. Don't be afraid to take things off the table if somebody tells you that it's self-care, but you don't feel like it is. Let's talk about social self-care activities. Spending quality time with friends, family, community. I guess it depends what type of friends, family, and community you have, right? Sometimes spending time with the wrong people is the opposite of self-care. The other side to that of the social self-care activities is nurturing healthy relationships. So this is where I would argue that we need to go internal and start getting really discerning about what and who are good for us in our life and what and who are not. If there are people in your life who you know are not good for you, but society tells you that you need to upkeep friendships because friendships for some reason just need to have longevity, even if they're shitty friends. We need to reframe that. We need to sit down and think, are these people helping me be the best of myself? And sometimes helping you be the best of yourself means shining a light on you, like showing you a mirror to yourself and like helping you push to be better or change if there's something that you're doing that's destructive or toxic. I have people in my life who I keep around because they keep me in check. My kids predominantly, they'll definitely tell me when I'm doing something wrong. But the key is I choose people when I have a choice. I choose people who do so in a way that lifts me up rather than pulls me down. It's something that has taken time for me to discern whether somebody is wanting me to change because it benefits me or because it benefits them. Some people will want you to stay small, not because it's the best thing for you, because it means that they don't have to grow. And then let's talk about spiritual self-care activities. Reflecting on our values, practicing gratitude, which can be a triggering term for a lot of people, connecting with nature, which I spoke about earlier, or engaging in religious practices if that is applicable to your life. The biggie here that I want to talk about is reflecting on values. A lot of this year for me is going to be spent on really honing in and aligning with my values and living to them and learning better strategies to not abandon my values for other people or for myself because it's easier. Gratitude, I think, is easy. It's one of those things, again, that we practice, right? So you don't have to feel it internally. You can at any point in your day, if you're like chopping veggies or whatever and you're feeling overwhelmed, a really good hack actually is to just stop for like 10 seconds, put down what you're doing, close your eyes, don't think about anything or anyone, but just say 3 times, thank you, thank you, thank you. To even help optimize that, you can start by taking a couple of deep breaths just in and out, because it helps like release whatever feelings are happening in that moment. A couple of deep breaths and then thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's talk about the brain science behind gratitude for a second. All right, so from a neuroscience perspective, gratitude activates certain parts of our brain, including the key brain region that's involved in processing rewards and a region of the brain that's involved in emotional awareness. A lot of the neuroscience research that's going into gratitude is showing that it can impact our relationships in a positive way. It can impact our resilience, as I said earlier, and our mental and our physical health. Gratitude has specific effects on the brain. It regulates the sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight, and it kind of has this really cool way of like conditioning the brain to filter out negative ruminations and like focus more on positive thoughts. It's pretty cool. And do you know, gratitude has also been shown in some studies to be able to reduce pain and improve our immune system. Like, I'm telling you, it's a weapon. Some studies show that it can improve sleep. Other studies show that it can reduce depression. And it generally just can make us feel like happier about ourselves and about life. So like, super pill. And the best bit about it is it's like really, really easy to do in little bits throughout the day. It's one of those self-care things that is actually achievable, because it doesn't mean, carving out a huge chunk of your day and like putting on the face mask and, running the hot bath and doing all of those things that aren't that enjoyable to some of us anyway. But again, it does take practice, little bit by little bit every day. You can try it by habit stacking. So like, say for instance, every morning as part of your habit, you brush your teeth. You can put a little note on the mirror as a reminder for yourself to, again, this takes practice because it's hard for some of us, to say 5 good things about yourself when you're brushing your teeth. Even just thinking them as you're brushing your teeth. If you have a little reminder there on the mirror that says, while you're brushing your teeth, name 5 good things about yourself. It's appreciating yourself, babes, and you deserve that. It sparks joy, it helps with our confidence. And it might be things like including recognizing like your past achievements, the efforts that you're making towards something, your talents, your virtues, your exceptionally good looking face, whatever. Other cool ways that you can incorporate gratitude into your life is writing notes for other people, little thank you notes, just for teeny tiny reasons. Giving notes to other people just to say thank you is twofold. Makes you feel good, it makes them feel good. And there's a bunch of other ways to incorporate gratitude very easily in your day. And this is one of those self-care things that I would say is like, if we're feeling like self-care is another thing on the to-do list that we're failing at, gratitude practices, like putting down the knife while we're chopping veggies and just saying thank you, thank you, thank you is just the first step towards doing those things that give us all the benefits that gratitude can give us. So, look, I get it. Self-care is important and you preach into the choir. This is what I teach. But realistically, and this happened yesterday, right? Like, I put the baby down for a nap and I was like, right, what can I get done? And I started, going to like clean something. And my husband was like, he walked into the room and he grabbed me by the hand and he like pushed me into the bedroom and closed the door behind me. And he was like, you need to lie down and rest and just chill out for 30 minutes. And you're not allowed to come out of this room for 30 minutes. He's such a sweetheart like that. But it was really hard. It was really hard for me not to like try and open the door and go back to what I was doing, because it's like free time is time to be productive. For a lot of us, that is just how we are conditioned. And if we're lying down, we're wasting time. But I do understand and I recognize that it is a necessity, and self-care requires making decisions to do things that are for our well-being. That can feel hard sometimes. And just making that decision can feel like the opposite of self-care, because if we're choosing something selfish or something that gives us rest, like real positive, influential rest, it can feel indulgent, which can feel selfish, which can click our brain over into something that just doesn't feel good. But if we can try reframing that, and if we can incorporate things into our day little bit by little bit that are actually achievable, or that we can do in a way that tricks us into thinking that we're actually doing something productive when it is self-care, then we can start the ball rolling for bigger, better self-care incorporations throughout the day. Why is self-care important? It manages our stress. It prevents burnout. So important. So many of us are either in burnout or on the fringe of it. Self-care increases our resilience. It boosts our overall health, and it fosters a sense of self-awareness, which God knows so many of us in this world and on the internet need right now. The key principles of what make it effective is that it needs to be personalized, right? We need to personalize it to what works for us. For me, journaling is not it. For you, it might be. So we need to personalize it to what works for us and not what the internet tells us we're supposed to do. We can drink as many chia smoothies as we want. We're not going to feel like it's fulfilling. Secondly, it needs to be proactive. We need to make a decision, even if it's a teeny tiny decision each day. We need to do something as little as starting with 30 seconds that is productive and proactive towards self-care. It's about intentionality, intentionally doing things that somehow refill our well-being cup. And it's remembering that small acts count. So those three things: personalized, proactive, and small if necessary. Just start somewhere. And if you're like me and you need a reframe, start thinking differently about what self-care actually means. It's not always the cucumbers over the eyes. Sometimes it's just forgiving ourselves for not getting to it that day. Sometimes that can constitute self-care. Anyway, on that, the fly is dead, but the baby's awake. So I gotta go. Please write in the comments what your favorite self-care strategies are. There are so many that I don't know about. I want to know, is there something easy, simple, quick, and affordable that I can do right now to make myself feel better? Throw them at me. Throw them at me. I want to hear them. And please tell me what else I can talk to you about. Once school starts again, I'll have a little bit more time on my hands to be able to get some productive things done and get on here and chat with you a bit more. But until then, I appreciate how patient you are with me. This is life, right? We're in it. This is what do we call it? The era? The chapter? The season? The season. This is the season of life we're in. It just is what it is. Okay, take care of yourselves and each other. Go and do something self-care related right now. Do it right now. I'll chat to you soon.